To get started with GIMP, click down here in the search area and type GIMP. You'll see GIMP 2 is listed. Click on it. And eventually you'll be presented with a window that looks something like this, or more likely something that looks like this. Now right now we have no canvas to draw on. To start a new project, we're going to click on File, New, and just leave the defaults here. It should say 640 by 400. Click OK, and you're going to draw a picture. Now, as much as I'd like to just let you draw whatever you want, I do have some requirements. To see what those requirements are, we're going to go to Google Classroom. Once you've logged on, click on my class, and then click on the assignment instructions, and here you will see the list of requirements for this assignment. We're going to work on slide 2 right now, draw a cartoon character. So the first thing we need to do is use the bucket fill tool to change the background color. To do that, here's the bucket fill tool, and I need to pick a new background color. I like some sort of aqua looking color, so I'm going to pick something that's kind of light. Then I should be able to just click right in here and it changes the background color. Next, I need to draw a cartoon character. When I do this, I need to use at least 3 different colors and use at least 2 different brushes. Also, the size of my brushes, it needs to be change at least twice. And at the very end, I'm going to change the opacity so that you can see through my image. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to use this paintbrush tool to start with, and I'm going to switch this to a solid brush, and that size looks fine. I'm going to pick a brownish color here. Let's see. Looks like it can get kind of a brown right around there. Right there. I'll go with that. And I'm just going to draw a stick figure. Now, I expect you guys to do a little bit better job than me. I'm doing kind of a quick job because this is a demonstration video. But for you guys, you're going to have a little bit more time on this assignment. And some of you are much more artistically inclined than I. So, like I said, I expect a little bit more from you. Now that I've drawn my character, I am going to use the fill tool here to make sure that his head is the same color as the rest of his body. And I got a little bit of a blue circle around there, so I'm going to clean that up with the paintbrush by just going right over it. Now to make sure that we have some facial features here, I'm going to switch colors again, and I think I'm going to use black to draw a smile on his face. And when I do that, I am going to change the size of my brush to, let's say, 8. So now I have a brush that's size, and let's try that again, 8. Now I'm going to hit enter. Let's change the size this time. I can close my color palette, and I'm going to put better try that again. Switch this to black and hit OK. Now I can put a smile on his face, and I want to draw some eyes. So I'm going to grab some blue. I'm going to make this a blue-eyed person. To draw some eyes, again, I'm going to change the size here a little bit so the eyes are a little bit bigger. There's one eye, there's two eye. Okay, let's look at my requirements here. And I see that I've used at least 3 different colors. I used one brush type so far, but I did change the size of my brush type a couple times. So to get a different brush going, I'm going to click over here and choose this brush. And I'm going to give my character some hair. Again, I'm going to go back to black. Hit OK. I'm going to change this brush size so that it's pretty large. And to give myself some hair now, all I have to do is stroke it just like that. And I'm going to go back and forth a couple times. So this person has a lot of nice curly hair, it looks like. And now we can check my requirements and see how I did. Looks like I have met that last requirement of using at least 2 different brushes. So I've met all of the requirements except for this last one of changing the opacity, and then I've got to meet these ones down here. So to change the opacity, I can actually click on this layer and change it right up here. And if I make it go down, you can actually see where you can see through the image. You see sort of a checkered look below it. Of all the things that we did here, the 2 things you would have a hard time doing with using just paint would be creating this hair that's sort of, I'm not sure what to call it. It's a paintbrush that's kind of speckled, and then creating a picture that has a, it's not an entirely solid picture. Those 2 features are features that are more powerful and something that you can only get when you use a program like GIMP. The last thing that we need to do here, as far as working on our picture, is to use some text, the text tool right here, to give our character a name. I'm going to call my character, let's see here, I think I can just type now. I'm going to call mine Billy Bob. And I'm going to change the size so it's quite a bit larger. Oh, I got to highlight it first. And then I can change the size. And I could change the color if I want to as well. So let's see, I could change the color to red if I wanted to. You can also change the fonts. There's a ton of fonts over here. And so if I wanted to pick a different font, I could do that. Okay, so if I look back at my requirements, I now see that I've changed the opacity, and I've used the text tool to name my character. The next thing I need to do is export the picture as a PNG file. So to understand what that is and why we need to do that, let's take a look here at what happens if I go ahead and try to save this file. So I go File, Save As. It's going to try to save it as what's called an XCF file. That's the native file format for GIMP. Now, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and save the file that way. I'm going to go ahead and call mine billybob.xcf. And I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Oh. And I should be able to just hit save here. See if that did it correctly. There it is, I can see it right here. The problem with an XCF file is no other programs use it, so you can't import this into a Word document and to a slideshow or anything like that. If you email it to your friends, they probably won't be able to view it on whatever device they have. So in order to get this picture so that other people can see it so that you can use it in different programs, we need to export it. I'm going to click on File, export as, and here I'm going to export it as billybob.png. Again, I'll put that on the desktop and hit export. Going to hit export again. And the problem with exporting it as a PNG is it squishes all of these layers together. So if I look over here, I've got Billy Bob the text and I've got the background right here. Now, if I wanted to ever edit this text, I would need to have the XCF file to do that. Once I turn it into a PNG file, I would actually have to erase that text right there and then go ahead and write some new text. But here it's relatively easy if it's saved in the native file format to change it to Billy Bob, maybe Billy Joe if I wanted to. Okay, now that I have everything that I need, I don't need to save anything here because I didn't make any real changes. Now that I have everything I need from my GIMP program, I've got my picture right here. It's time to go ahead and go to Google Classroom, and I need to click open here. And for this assignment, these are things I had when I was experimenting. I can go ahead and create a new slideshow, and I'm going to go ahead and open this slideshow. And I'm going to title this GIMP Portfolio. And right below that I should put the title or the author's name. Now it looks like this account is Xander Backus's account. That's my son. I'm just using his account so that you can see it the way a student would see it. But I'm actually Mr. Backus, so I just put my name right here. And then I'm going to insert another slide. So, new slide, create a new slide. And here is where I would see, and you want to change the layout so that it's just a blank slide. And I can put my picture here. I think we will want to change the page setup so that it matches the ratio of our picture here. I think that'll work better. Let's see how it looks. Insert image from the desktop. And now I can go ahead and put it right in the corner up there and drag it right down here. And I was wrong, so let's go ahead and change that page setup back to, I think it was 16 by 9 at first, so let's see how that works. And it looks like neither one's perfect, so I'll just go ahead and pick one of them and center it here.